Oh yeah, this place looks like shit. Well, if you'd given me some more time, I would have actually been able to get this place looking a bit different than I did a few months ago. Don't play smart with me, cute boy. Now, my accent keeps changing because I'm actually working for many people just now. And if I play all the sides at once, then I always come out on top. It's a pretty smart thing to do. But yeah, I've got, I don't know, like 20 odd albums that I need you to look at. Tell me your verdict on it, and then if you've wronged anybody in any sort of extreme way, then I'll just deal with you. Is that okay? I'm not even gonna wait on a response from you. I know that's okay. So yeah, let's just start off, okay? Okay. Should be easy enough. You've clearly got the wrong person, so let's just get this out as quick as possible. Possibly maybe less minutes than the number of albums that you want me to talk about. Cool. Rapper Go to the League by 2 Chainz. Yeah, this is the kind of album that kind of just reminds me, why did we ever treat 2 Chainz as a joke? Because he actually is somebody to be kind of reckoned with, at least in trap rap. Because some of the tunes on here are some of the best trap rap songs I've heard in quite a long time. Mama Just Had a Look with Kendrick Lamar, just gonna go down as one of the best songs of the year, no doubt about it. But yeah, I still think that he's just got this wordplay and charisma that very few people have right now in rap. It does become a bit more rudimentary near the end of the album, but I still had quite a good time with it, so I'd probably give it like a decent 7 out of 10. LP Free by American Football. Why they don't just come up with another name for their albums, I don't know. This was like everything that a 2016 return should have been. It's pure blissfulness at points. I do love quite a few lyrics, especially when it comes to talking just about having all this kind of pain passed down and how you deal with it. And just the more kind of dream poppy sheen to it makes it feel like a next step as opposed to a band trying to reclaim their sort of heritage and what made their first album such a classic. I just find myself kind of drifting off in a really peaceful, blissful way as opposed to kind of like a this is boring me kind of way. So I'm feeling kind of like a light 8 on this, just a really, really great return. Thank You Next by Ariana Grande. Miss Uncancelable herself here with an album that was just a lot better than I expected it to be, and maybe I just kind of thought it would not be as good as Sweetener because Seven Rings isn't that good, but even that track I've kind of grown towards a little bit. The whole narrative that's running through this, kind of like a whole sort of a recovery album in a way, how Ariana has tried to deal with it in the way that's all manifested, and some just the best pop songs that I've heard in years. Thank You Next, the title track, is just as good as it was when it first came out. Stuff like Borderline, NASA, just yeah, there's so many kind of good songs on this that, like, even if there are some gripes that I have with it, I can just find myself coming back to being gravitating towards it, which is why I would probably give it a light 8 as well. When We All Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go by Billie Eilish. Are we really getting back to this whole noughties thing of just having really long time? Can we not bother with that, please? That's another big pop album. I do think this album should exist. I do think this aesthetic could be interesting and definitely could be a lot more satisfying than it actually is. I just think Billie's singing is a bit sort of just basic most of the time. I don't feel like it ever sort of complements the sort of like dark, eerie nature of the beats that she's trying to create on here. Definitely has potential to it, but frankly it's just not for me. Bad Guys maybe the only song that I really remember and would come back to, and some of the lyricism is just, some of it is quite insightful and very mature, for especially considering the fact that she's only like 17, but there's also some just very immature bland lyricism on top of that, so it's not a good mix, I would say. But maybe it's going to be that debut album that we look back on and go, this was the start of something great. But as it stands, I'd probably give it a decent 5 out of 10. Thank You by Black Dresses. Yeah, I really liked Black Dresses album last year, and this is pretty much more of the same. There are some changes. I think some of the vocal inflections this time around just maybe grate on me a little bit too much. But in terms of kind of like the synth work, how it's all crafted and that, it's still really impressive. It still really does kind of instill this dread feeling, and just how transparent it is and how it manages kind of like and kind of intertwine the dread found in the lyrics and also in the overall kind of fearful nature of the soundscapes. I think it's just really, really good. I would probably go for a strong 7 on this. It's just barely misses out on joining Waste Isolation in the 8 Club. Can't Say I Ain't Country by Florida Georgia Line. So you probably think you've got me here, because this was a really bad album. And yeah, it was definitely the most laughable experience I've had all this year. But it's just really entertaining. So it doesn't make me mad. It wouldn't be enough to like put me on any sort of watch list with how much it offended me or that. It's got like Larry the Cable Guy impressions and just a really kind of pathetic tales of romance. So I'd probably just give it like a light 3, just because it did get quite a laugh out of me in a kind of listening party kind of experience sort of way. So yeah, light 3 out of 10. Everything Not Saved Will Be Lost Part 1 by Foals. I'll try not to go on a bit too long here, but yeah, this is kind of like the Foals album I was hoping them to bring out. The grooves on this, the steps forward as well as kind of like the kind of return to that sort of math rock dance punk stuff, like just went down incredibly well. The lyricism as well, it seems to kind of follow the same steps that Giannis was taking with What Went Down, where some of it can be kind of still cryptic and just sort of like he's just writing down whatever comes to mind in that. But there's definitely some sort of parallels to be made with like the confusing landscape of just the UK at the moment. I do think there's just quite a lot to return to here, and I have done many a time so far. It's probably like the most entertaining and just enjoyable rock album I've heard all this year, and I think I'm gonna go with a strong 8 on it at the moment. The Wzrd by Future. This was such a frustrating listen, because there's some cuts on here that are some of the best work Future's put out since DS2, and I had a great time with it. But like every sort of almost good rap album over the past few years, there's just some filler that just really weighs it down, and it just made it, like I say, a very frustrating listen. But I do think this is at least making me hopeful that Future could come out with like a properly great rap album in the next few years. I've got my fingers, or well, my kind of hands all crossed for that. What Chaos Is Imaginary by Girlpool. So yeah, I guess this album takes a little while to really get going, but once it does get going, all of the most kind of like satisfying, pleasant bits of indie pop at the moment, mixed in with some really good shoegaze elements as well. When they're all mixed together, I just found myself kind of like in a daze of sorts, where everything was just really going down well with me. I do wish that the first kind of 3-4 songs were a bit better, and maybe I wish that it was kind of like experimenting a bit more, because it does feel like sometimes it gets stuck in its ways. But I enjoyed this a lot more than their last album, I have to say that. So probably feeling kind of like a solid 6 on this. Electric Lady Sessions by LCD Soundsystem. So with this live album, it definitely feels like some of the cuts like you wanted to hit really took on like a new life that made me appreciate them even more. But that being said, Tonight, which was one of the best cuts off American Dream in my opinion, doesn't sound that good on here, and most of the covers on here too are just alright, bar Fastest Groove Thing, which was one of my favourite songs of last year. I just feel like they're just sort of there for the sake of it, and there is definitely kind of like an energy and a groove that just sort of like kind of reminds you like why LCD Soundsystem are just kind of one of the most kind of pleasant bands to listen to in any given time. I do wish that the covers were maybe a bit more kind of, like I say, a bit more gratifying, and maybe, I don't know, Tonight just doesn't sound good to me, but I'll probably go for a light 7 on it. Harvard Dropout by Lil Pump. Yeah, this is pretty horrible. I thought Lil Pump's mixtape was fine. It was fine, had a good tune here or there, but he cannot keep that sort of appeal and charm going on for as long as he thinks he can. All of the production is just benign, lacking a personality. Lil Pump himself has proven himself with some decent to good performances, but none to be found on here. This is just really kind of just a disgusting kind of album, and just how unpleasant it is, not in a intended way and not in a way that I feel makes Lil Pump seem like he's all that at the moment. Yeah, I'd probably go for like a strong 2 out of 10 on this, but I don't hate it, so I'm afraid you haven't caught me yet. Grey Area by Little Simz. Yeah, this was definitely worth all the hype it was getting, because I think it's quite similar in some ways to that Sylvian LeCue album that came out last year, whose name I still can't pronounce right, but all that stuff about like finding confidence and whatnot, and how you go about doing that, I found sort of relatable, and the way that Little Simz was doing it, I just found that she was doing it in a way that, like, definitely I could draw comparisons, but I do feel like she's doing it in her own way. I feel like she's just got such a presence on the mic, unlike most British rappers at the moment. I was just, yeah, I found this album refreshing, and I think it is the best hip hop album I've heard this year. So yeah, definitely one to kind of like go out your way to listen to if you haven't already, but I'm fairly sure 99% of people already have at this point. So yeah, I'm probably feeling like a solid 8 out of 10 on this Little Simz album. Love Hates What You've Become by Lost Under Heaven. I just didn't enjoy this one. The male vocalist on here sounds like he's being dragged from a bar doing like Bob Dylan karaoke. There's points where like both the female and male vocalists kind of come together a little bit, and that kind of showed like glimmers of potential where I thought this album could go somewhere, but it never does. It just sort of meanders and just never really like has much of a purpose going for it, it seems, which is a shame, because like I say, those glimmers of potential made it seem like I was gonna get like totally surprised at some point, like a curveball was gonna appear, but it didn't. So a light 4 out of 10 I'll give it, just because it just kind of wasted my time, if I'm being honest. Malibu Ken by Malibu Ken by Malibu Ken by Malibu Ken. Yeah, this album has its moments, but sadly those moments are kind of like the first 2 songs on here. There's some like fascinating points with like the weirdness and quirkiness and just that classic Aesop rock flow where you're just mesmerised at how he manages to pack so much in. But I just don't think the production ever fascinated me as much, and that just the duo ever like kind of like justified pairing up. It just didn't feel like a pairing up that ever kind of like the results were like constantly going, yeah, this is worth it. Maybe if they team up again, maybe I'll get something more of it. But as it stands, like a light 6 out of 10, I'd say. Songs for the Firing Squad by SeeYouSpaceCowboy. Yeah, my screamo knowledge is fairly limited here, but I just thought just the energy on this just kind of like just left me feeling really happy, and I would come back to like 2 or 3 times over the course of the last month, and especially with like an ideal setup where like it just flies by, but you just feel like for those like 17-18 minutes I think it is, you just feel just totally gripped by it, plus like a Cowboy Bebop reference in your name, like that's pretty cool. But in terms of the actual music, I just thought that it just had like all the energy and adrenaline that I was really looking for. So I'd feel like a decent 7 on this. Alien Pop 2 by Snail's House. Yeah, this one just deserves more attention because it has all the cutesy charm of like an Animal Crossing game, like Persona 5 as well, with that kind of like acid jazz kind of thing going for it. Katamari Damacy as well, if you've ever listened to the soundtrack to that, imagine just all that just like pressed into like the one experience, and that's what you're going to get here. I just had like the biggest smile on my face from start to finish. This is just one of the best EPs I've heard all this year, and you just owe it to yourself to listen to it. I feel a solid 8 out of 10 on it. Outer Peace by Tory Is that how you say it? I don't know. I'm losing it a little bit. Yeah, I don't know, maybe I'm kind of alone on this, but I thought kind of like the funk house sound that makes up the bulk of this album just was taken in directions that made it kind of never become too stale for me. Yeah, the lyrical elements aren't really all that, but yeah, I just found it to be rather delightful at points, and just like I say, all the directions and routes that got taken down meant that I was just kind of like constantly pretty mesmerised by it. So yeah, maybe I would have been a bit more let down if I had experienced more of this guy's work. But as it stands, I'd probably give it like a light 7 out of 10. Why not? Vale Smith EP by Vale Smith. Oh boy, this just was an amazing EP. Full disclosure, you know, I know Vale Smith, I know Buffalo Staple, but he really went out with this one. This was just like a huge improvement on that All for a Cascade album he put out last year, and he just put a new album out just now, and I'm definitely gonna get around to that for the next roundup if I ever do. But stuff like Vestibule, which just like it just felt like I was in some sort of environment that was like growing around me, and as if like all the little parts, like all the like the plankton and amoeba and all that stuff was just like having a little party, and I was all invited to it. Like it just felt really special, and I've listened to this like on early morning train ride, I listened to it late at night. It just always just has this new impression on me that I just thought, yeah, this is just a really great release that just kind of like really I can't put into words. So I'm giving it a strong 8 out of 10. And I implore you guys to go out and listen to it if this tape ever gets released. The Black Album by Weezer. I really got excited about this, and I feel like an idiot for doing that, despite the fact that I think Zombie Bastards and Can't Knock the Hustle were still good. Good songs are just sort of like classic Weezer, like kind of some of them kind of go back to like Pinkerton, like El Scorcho, and yeah, I just thought they were just like really good Weezer, and I was like, okay, maybe the rest of the album will be like this, and we'll get the first good Weezer album in about 3 years, which kind of maybe more the fact that it would make up for Pacific Daydream, but it didn't. And it's had some of the most embarrassing songwriting I've heard all of this year. California Snow, I still don't know what my impression is of that, because it is so tone deaf and all maybe kind of embarrassing, but I just find it hilarious at the same degree that maybe just like I do like it. I'm not sure at this point. Probably give it a like 5 out of 10. Just I feel maybe I'm feeling still a bit apologetic towards it, but it has its good moments, but there's just so much bad as well that I need to fall directly in the middle. The Teal album by Weezer, and the bloody cover album is better than the mainline at Weezer album. This is just a dark timeline. Yeah, I do think that Everybody Wants to Rule the World is actually a better version of the original for me. I kind of enjoy it a lot more. And they obviously kind of had a bit of fun with this too, like going for like Black Sabbath with kind of a weird choice, but it's hard for me to say whether or not they executed it well, but definitely like they were having some fun with it. People say it's a cash grab and it's this and that, but personally to me, I feel like this was just, it seemed like they were having fun with it, and some of the songs really show that. Like Africa is still, I think, a good cover of that song, but some of the songs definitely fall flat. Like Michael Jackson cover just sort of, yeah, loses all kind of like everything that made that version good, and that doesn't really add much to it as well. So yeah, that's kind of where I stand on this. A light 6, I guess we'll go for on this. Girl with Basket of Fruit by Shu Shu. It's venomous, it's eccentric, it's vitriolic, it feels like you're in the belly of the beast. It's kind of like that Pius Mary album that came out last year. It's kind of like that Arca album from 2017. Just, it feels like just a monster, a behemoth, and some of the narratives that goes down here are just utterly unsettling. And the finale song on this as well is just beautiful in my opinion. It's definitely an album that's going to kind of like get on the bad side of people who are just going to think it's just kind of gross and it's just sort of just not much redeeming it. But for me, yeah, I just thought this was a hugely rewarding album that if you were willing to kind of like get yourself submerged in the goo of it, that you're going to come out of it feeling like you've kind of just came out of like a different experience each time. So for me, I'm probably going to go for a solid 8 out of 10 on this. Now you probably think that's me all done, but I've got one last thing I need to ask you about. Big Client, Supermarket, Biologic. Okay, yeah, this is probably how you got a hold of me then, because this is just a horrible album that doesn't deserve to exist. The book that accompanies it is even worse somehow. Just, it borderlines on being offensive at points. The Mac DeMarco contributions are dog shit. Like, why do they exist? It is just like a really half-baked impersonation of what Mac DeMarco does, and it actually makes me respect him a lot less, Mac DeMarco. This is a horrible listen. It really does befuddle me how somebody could maybe listen to this and think that it was really engrossing or entertaining. If somebody does, please let me know. Please let me know. But, oh mate, just chuck me in the jail. I really think this is just a abhorrent album. Wrong answer. Come on over. Come on, let's head off. Before you take me away though, can I do like a wee plug or that? Like, I assume this is gonna go live. Okay, I can give you your dying wish, your dying declaration. Just go ahead. Listen to the playlist that I've got of all my favourite songs of the year so far. Follow me and rate your music and album of the year, because I will be uploading reviews for albums that maybe I forgot to mention in this roundup, or that I'll get around to at some point. You get ahead of the curve in that way. And yeah, I guess that's about it. You want to take me away now? Well, wonder how this is all going to go down in the next episode, if I even manage to get myself out of this little hole. But until then, see you guys next time, and as always, stay safe and stay hydrated.